Yo, yo, what's going on? Welcome back to one of my streams. If you've not been here before, my name is Jimmy. Trying to build something a little niche here. This is salary cap fantasy. So we do everything salary cap fantasy. And what I've been doing this year is bringing you all of my drafts. Um, yeah, so I'm just, showing you how to draft your teams, what approaches to take, giving the format, how to navigate all of the different challenges uh, you may face in the draft. So let's get started. In today's draft, I am doing my first ESPN league of the season. This is my home league. These are all people I know. So looking forward to drafting against my buddies. And this one is for bragging rights more so. Whoever wins this league gets a trophy and things of that nature. So it's a big deal. This is a keeper league, meaning we get to keep up to two players per season per year, and the price on that is $10 per first year keepers, and then $20 per second year keeper. So this year I chose to keep Chase Brown. I drafted Chase Brown for $10. I want $10. I want to say, yes. So I had Chase Brown for like almost $1 or so a few years back. So I had him as my keeper last year, and so it cost me $10, and then this year it's going to cost me $20, so $30. And then last year I drafted Ken Walker for 35, so plus 10, that's 45. So that is subtracted from my overall budget of roughly $250 to complete our team. So this is a 17 team 17 roster league. So it's not as big as some of my other leagues. And what else here? We don't, this is not a super flex, and so sorry, this is not a super flex, and so I wanted to make sure that I may call that out here as well. So this is more so your traditional leagues, two running back spots, two flex, three wide receivers, and then seven bench spots, right? And then we have two RR spots. So yes, I'm starting off this draft with Ken Walker and Chase Brown. I also had Judkins. I also had Bayshall. I had like Kyrie Williams. So I had a really good team from last year. If I was allowed to keep my team from last year, honestly believe that I will be the championship team this year, but I'm not allowed to. This is the last year I get to keep Chase Brown too, because every 2 years you have to kind of rotate and cycle out of like a player. So I'll not be able to hold on to Chase Brown next year. So I hope he really does well this year, right? And so I can pick up someone else, hopefully at the end of the draft, and have them for a cheaper price next year. So that is the goal here. Is once the draft starts, in this draft we are all hunting for next year's sleepers. I don't think there's a lot of rookie running backs here that are going to be sleepers next year. You never know. So you want to get those guys for like a dollar or two. So you have like a really cheap price point when they start to actually perform. So if you can get a starting running back for for $10 in this league, whereas your competitors have to pay 70, $60, that's the advantage. And so I chose to pay up this year. Normally, I'm very frugal. I'll go like the cheaper alternatives. Judkins was one of those cheaper alternatives, but Ken Walker is just tantalizing this year, and so I want some shares of Ken Walker. Yeah, so we have about a minute and a half before this draft starts. This one tends to be a little wild, as my league mates are sometimes, some of them are auto drafting because they can't make it. It's kind of early here on the East Coast. It's 6:30, so a lot of people are just coming from work and things of that nature. So since I've already spent a significant portion of my budget on running backs, I think I would just kind of chill here for a little bit. I still want some running back. I tend to go running back heavy in this league. And one other thing I want to do is um, I can't be too afraid to spend in this format because we only have 17 spots to fill. There's usually a ton of value on the waiver wire. And so I'm not afraid to, like, just go heavy up in my key positions and then worry about picking up value on the waiver wire later, right? I think in my other leagues, I try to be more balanced and draft a really good overall roster, have a deeper bench and things of that nature. This one, I'm just like, I'm just gonna go, spend for the players I want and let the chips fall where they may. Lastly, here there are limits on how many positions you can draft in this league. You can draft up to 4 QBs, up to 8 running backs. I already have 2 of them. So that leaves me with 6 more running backs, 8 wide receivers, 3 tight ends, and so on and so forth. So there are limits to what you can do. So you can technically hoard all the running backs and so on. So this is started. A lot of managers here are auto drafting right now. So the prices are going to be wild. So which is good for me. I can just sit back and relax. And because if players are starting to go for 80, 70, and so on and so forth, that is going to be a lot of cheaper players later. So I can just stock my team with like a lot of good players. So I'm only going to focus on the players I absolutely want in this first half of the draft just to get some value. And then I'm going to kind of wait just towards the back end because there's going to be a ton of players going for $1 or 2 here. And that's where you find your guys for next year. So a lot of talking. Let's get drafting here. Um, but yeah, I also have another draft tonight. I don't know if I'll get to actually kind of segue into that draft. So right now I want to get, say, let's get Brock Bowers. So my strategy doesn't change. Guys, I just know I'm not going to end up with. I'm going to nominate right now because there's a lot of bots here. Um, so just get some of that money off the table. But yeah, have another draft later today, and hopefully I can segue into that. But I will be like almost like a 8 hour stream. I don't know if I can do 8 hours. I'm tired right now after work, so let's see how this one goes because this one is going to take me right into that 8 o'clock draft. Um, Hopefully it's over before then, but if it doesn't, you will catch the start of that draft. Hopefully, but otherwise, I don't know if I can do a whole stream for that draft. But again, I can always do a recap of it. But yes, the prices here are astronomical, so I'm just going to relax. And this is why I didn't put Ken Walker back on the market because I knew he was going to go for uh, a lot more money than what we have here. So yeah, and so this is going to go faster than some of my other streams. They're super long. Um, this one tends to go faster. As you can see, we have our managers kind of joining here. Some people are a few minutes late. Um, but yeah, ideally you want to be in here. You want a lot of you want to be in here at the start of the draft. Let me see. So this manager kept ETN for 18, so he probably got ETN for 8 last year. So you can see just like how everything is kind of how it goes. And then you have this manager who kept Sim Brown for $79 and then Irving for 31. So I feel like I'm good for Chase Brown for 30 versus Irving for 31. It's just, we have different managers in different regions of the country. And so they have different affiliations. So most of us are East Coast based. And so that means the players we draft are going to be close to home, your Giants, your giant players, your ego players, and players like that. So when you nominate those players, they tend to be. So I'm definitely a one. I won Texans D today. So Texans D or I'm going Seahawks or something like that. So I don't want to be um yeah, it's my first player technically. And I can do this stuff because I got some discounts I feel like on players. And this league is so shallow that you'll find a lot of value, defenses to stream throughout the year. So I'm just doing it because I really want the Texans defense this year. Um, and I know my buddy here lost the defenses, so I'm just trying to annoy people a little bit. Yeah, and so over the history of this league, at least I've been in this league, I say pushing 10 years now. I've won it a lot of times. Um, I can count the amount of times I've won it, but yeah, it fluctuates. You get managers that win it from time to time here and there. So my buddy here's got Scatterboo for 16, Christian McCaffrey for 50. If I was him, I probably would have, let McCaffrey go, given just all the injury stuff. But now he's got Jefferson for 68. So yeah, still got money to spend here. And that's what I'm saying. You can be a little reckless here in this draft with how much money you spent and how quickly, because you have a chance to get cheaper players on the back end. That's what I've noticed over the years. Oh no, not nominating Genty. Oh, I don't think they heard. Well, it's all of like the auto bots, and yes, it's all of like the managers who aren't here, so they're ending up with players that like Genty. You don't want to pay that much for Genty, but that's what happens when you nominate when you're not here. You get to pay full price for Genty, even though he's hurt. Um, all right. And the first QB in this league tends to go for astronomically higher for price. So I tend to chill on QBs. I tend to chill on QBs for now because like I think we are smart now. But like before, the QBs will go for 50, 60, right? And so we are all trying to be as smart as we can be. Yeah, Drake London. Yeah, Drake London this year. I just don't like what's going on in Atlanta. We don't know who's going to be the QB, and if Tua is the guy, oh my gosh, help us all. Um, yeah, yeah. So I'm not going to be drafting a lot of Drake London. Um, so that's just me. I'm not going to be drafting a lot of Drake London, a lot of Kyle Pitts. I'm going to stay off those guys for now. Um, until if I get like a better idea as to what's going on, yeah. But otherwise, I'm off those guys. But like again, this is our home league. Not a lot of people did their research and stuff like that, so it's it tends to be the case that you see just wild prices, and in fact that like you have managers here who are just managers who aren't here, and so it's like most of them are auto drafting. So the bots would just bid on whatever on whoever you have up there, right, irrespective of the price tag. So you take these lumps. Who did you have? You have Caleb Williams for 10. See, so he started with Caleb Williams for $10, and then Cook for 50, and then Love for 54. Um, so so yeah, if you feel like you have a discount at one position, you can go a little reckless on who you draft at these different positions. But yeah, and if you're just joining us, again, this is my home league. Um, this one is a 17 team league, so it's a keeper league, so we get to keep players. Yeah, over year, I kept two players. Some managers chose to like not keep any player. And I get to select again. So who should I select here? I'm gonna keep going TE for now. I just want to get some of the money off the table. But my strategy here and my team is, my don't even know where my own team is, but my team is here. So I've got Chase Brown for 30 and Ken Walker for 45. So those are guys I drafted last year. Obviously, it didn't pan out last year, so I'm back second time around. Hopefully, this is a second time is a charm. Uh, so I'm just gonna chill for now because I want to go heavy on the running back position. So I'm gonna chill for now and let some of this money come off the table, which means that the players I really want are gonna be going at the price points that I want them at. So yeah, yeah. So Saquon Barkley is definitely going for a lot because I mean we're East Coast guys and Saquon Barkley is, everyone's one of our favorites here, and everyone knows Saquon. So yeah, New York Giant players, Jet players tend to be a premium in this league. So see, because I have Chase Brown and Ken Walker, I want running backs, but I don't want to spend 50 for the running backs, and knowing that there will be a lot of second tier running backs to go after this one. So we shall see. Oh wow. Wow, 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 wow. Good, good team there, sir. Yeah, so I'm just waiting for the $50 running backs to get off the board. So if we look here, a lot of these running backs, Derrick Henry is like the last guy. He's gonna go over 50. So I can choose to go that route, or I can choose to go just spread that money around in this bucket. Obviously, managers will pay over to get those players, but I can choose to, hopefully I get some of these players for a little less, right? I want to be in this 30 bucket right here. The guys I'm looking at Javante Williams. I'm looking at guys like Swift. I'm looking at Judkins, Kyron Williams, and then Price, Jadarian Price. Right. So now that we've got some of the bots off the table here, it makes it interesting now, right? Because we're not competing with, yeah, but yeah, I'm not, fighting to get a player now because the bots are off the table. Right. Well, I'm still gonna have to get pay up to get the players I want, but I think it's gonna be more at parity. Um, and managers will pay a little bit over that price to get the players they want, but otherwise, I think we are good. So if I can split this 69 into two players, I'm good. So then it will just be who do I want to pick up here? I had Kyrene and Blake Corum, you know, last year. Do I go that route again? I don't want Jacobs this year, at least not in this league. All right, all right. Okay. I think this is a big year for Nico Collins, and I want on that Nico Collins train. Uh, yeesh. Yeah, I had to pay a little bit, but that's okay. So this is what the team looks like now. So I definitely got a list of guys I want to target this year. Um, so Nico Collins um, being one of them. So, but I also don't want to like go too early and leave myself, holding the bag essentially with I know there's a lot of value still on the board, so I want to have some money left over and not just spend wild. Yeah, so if we had to go Olave versus Nico Collins, I'm definitely going Nico Collins for the same price point. So I think he goes close enough to Nico Collins in terms of prices here because people are just going off of like how much the player cost. Um, so he's gonna go close to what Nico Collins went for. Um, yeah, 40, 44. So on the dot, right? So Colston. Let me wait and see how much. Okay, I see you, lumps. I see you. He's stacking Caleb and Colson Loveland together. You know, that's a good looking team. Um, oh, this is a good one. I wonder how much they pay for Garrett Wilson, right? Because he's a New York guy. Everyone's familiar, so he probably goes for a hefty price point. Or no. Hey, let me get Jacobs out there again. And really, the goal here is just for me to. I want to as much I want to get players. I don't want to like go too crazy here. There are certain players I want to spend it on. If those players are on the board, fine. If not, I'll wait. Um, but there are some managers that are still not here yet, and so you're bidding against the bots for the most part. So what I did earlier is, ooh, my all my players are out of the queue. Okay. So what I did earlier was just queue up players I wanted um, in some sort of order. And I'm not gonna get all of those players, but it just keeps me, focused on the players I should be going after. Right? So when you're waiting, this is the time to like actually do some of the work you need done. Um, and that is going, you know, checking off the boxes on some guys that you want. Guys like Zay Flowers, guys like Smith, Lad McConkey, Tarek McLaurin, and T. Higgins. This type of guys are the guys I want. Luther Birding. So I know Luther Birding is going to be here later on, right? For around like that $16 price point. So I can wait a little bit and save some money and go that route as my third wide receiver. So if I can get one more wide receiver, then I can wait on Burden. And you got guys like Christian Watson who's gonna go for like $6. And so for six, that's a good price point. So all of the spending upfront now leads to again cheaper prices later. And so I'm gonna part of the game here is waiting until you can get some of those players. So let's see if we're running back. Javante. Yeah, so I want Javante. So it's a little cost prohibitive, but I can take some risk because I don't want to be just sitting on a bunch of money with no the positions to fill them. Um, so at least this way, I have that's still more expensive than I want to pay for Javante, but you're gonna pay. So I just need to have some money left over to work off of later. So because you got guys like Jadarian Price still on the board for $11. You got guys like Judkins. Judkins probably going to go for 30, given the money that's still on the table. Kyrie's probably going to go for 30. So it's just, if I can target Swift and Price, that's good enough for me. And then I can go wide receiver. I'll worry about QB later. Um, but yeah, um, so I'm just going to kind of relax now and let some of that money go off the table. But yeah. So I've got Chase Brown, I've got Ken Walker, I've got Nico Collins, I've got Devontae Williams. Um, if I can get Devontae Smith and one of, oh, there we go. They're gonna make me pay. Why now? Really don't want to pay up that. I want to start getting some discounts, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get some discounts on this guy. So that's okay though. Okay. Well, at this rate, I'll let him go and I will find my players elsewhere because I can't. There's a lot of value here. And I'm as much as I want to overpay, not that by that much. So let's look at wide receivers. I mean, T. Higgins, Lad McConkey, guys like that are still here. So yeah, and if you're just joining us, this is so wild. This manager, who's this? See this team? Stacked, stacked. Um, but yeah, this is awesome. This is my home league. If you're just joining us, this is my home league draft. Hopefully, this is done sooner than later. But this draft, this league tends to be a little funky. So um, yeah, like I said, we play for bragging rights and so on and so forth. So it should be a good league. Nico Collins, I got T. Higgins. I need one more wide receiver, serviceable wide receiver, and I'm good. And I should be able to find plenty of wide receivers based on who's left here. Uh, but what I want to do is split this budget a little bit more, get some, how do you say, get a few more running backs. Um, this is a very shallow league, so you should be able to find. There's so many guys on the waiver wire over the course of the season. Um, it's insane. So like there's always value on the waiver wire. There's a lot of guys here who are going to be on the waiver wire um later on. So I don't need to necessarily be more stingy if that's a word. I need to fill this team, but I think I'm good thus far. I just don't want to spend all my money and get overexcited. I want to have an opportunity to uh, participate later in the dollar bin bucket because that's where we are finding rookies and guys that are going to be on our team next year because it's a keeper league. You get to keep up to two people. So if you were to get a player $4, $3, $1 now, that player then becomes an asset to you next year. And so that player commands, if you decide to keep that player commands uh, smaller portion of your budget. So now my goal here is I can go either from the running back standpoint, I could go either Judkins or Swift. Um, and I've been drafting Judkins in a lot of leagues. Um, but but I think I can diversify a little bit more. But if he's going for this price, then yeah, they made me pay earlier, so I have to make them pay as well. So all right, so that's a good price. Judkins, Hampton, and a slew of wide receivers here. Good drafting. Um, what I want to do is because it seems like players are going at their price points, I am going to go maybe Swift here. I want cheaper alternatives. Now that I have most of my key positions filled, I want cheaper alternatives. So I can go Swift and Jadarian Price. That's what I want to do. Target is two guys. If I can get them for $15 each, that's good enough. Then the remainder of my budget, I can just kind of throw into the wide receiver position. We still have guys, like a lot of guys here. Luther Burden's still here. Still a bunch of wide receiver options here. Um, there's still teams with money. If that manager shows up right now, it's going to be hell to pay. And so you want to be have your team basically scoped out or almost complete by the time the managers with the auto bids show up. Because it's early. This draft was really early. It was like 6:30 p.m. our time, Eastern time. Most people are just coming from work. Again, it's our home league. We play for fun, so it's not that serious. All right, it's not that serious, but you still want to show up and have some fun. Right. So at this point, we're just trying to get some of the money off the table. Um, most managers here are done. Most managers are done for the most part. So it's just the big budget managers here. So if we can, some of this cash starts to dwindle, then we'll be good. I just didn't want to spend all of it in one place. I know going heavy up on certain players is what I wanted to do, but like I think I see an opportunity here to have a little bit more depth. And especially at the running back position, because yes, you can find a lot of value on the waiver wire in this league, but I think it matters, right? The depth, the type of players you have on your roster. So I hate drafting kickers, but oh well. Here we go. Let me do the Brandon Aubrey thing. It forces you to take a kicker. So if you've never drafted any ESPN before, you were forced to take a kicker and a defense. So in Yahoo, you can get away without drafting a kicker and a defense. In ESPN, you have to draft a kicker and a defense, right? So I might as well just get it out the way. So I can use that spot to really just drop someone in that spot and be like, okay, I'll figure it out later. You have to pay up for you have to pay up for that. All right. So players are starting to go for really cheap now. So that's good. Um, so guys like these, I can try and see if I can, end up with them for like $1 here, $10 here. Uh, I still want to make sure my running back position is taken care of. Uh, okay. All right. TJ Moore in the flex. That's okay. Um, it's got a good team though. It's got a good team. TJ Moore for 14. Um, Hampton, Judkins, um, Pickens, Gary Wilson, Adams. So yeah, good looking team. Good looking team overall. Yeah, Trevion Henderson this year, I don't know. So for me, I'd rather spend my money more so on Swift, Jadarian Price than Trevion Henderson. But again, this is a home league, so you don't expect all the managers in the home league to know everything about every player. They know about like the bigger, most popular players because they've heard now from a lot of fantasy analysts. But I think it's still they still don't have like the level of like familiarity with all of the players when we start drafting, right? So uh, okay, let me look up wide receivers. Yeah, Luther Burden, definitely. I want a piece of that Chicago action. So I didn't want to pay up for it, but everyone's favorite sleeper, Luther Burden. Um, so at least I've got my wide receiver position. Let's see here. I got my wide receiver position for the most part, uh, taken care of. Luther Burden is a guy I picked off waivers last year for $1, I want to say. So I could have had him for $10 this year, but I think the running backs were the running backs were important enough to have your running back position taken care of. And I wanted to make sure I took care of my running back positions. Um, so so I've got Javante, I've got Ken Walker, I've got what's his name, Chris Chase Brown, and the guy I missed out on was actually Devontae Smith. He went for 36. I didn't want to spend that much, but I've gotten Burden and Higgins for you know roughly that price. So I think that's a good investment for me, right? So right now I'm just sitting and waiting since wide receiver is full for the most part. I'm just gonna go whatever $44 I have here. I'm going to go um to Carnell Tate out here. And I'm going to go uh Swift and Jadarian Price are the two guys I really want remaining here. There's a ton of running backs here, but I mean, for the most part, those are the guys I want to walk away with here. Um, so we'll see if I can get that done, but they're at a price point that I can afford. So, and if it's any indication on how much the running backs are going for, I think I can get away with Jaden Daniels, 14. I don't want to pay 14 for Jaden Daniels, so might have to wait and see how far up. All right. I mean, there's still a ton of QBs. I know Jaden Daniel brings a rushing floor. Um, it's like, but I don't want to get into a bidding war. When you have Herbert, you have like guys like Kyler for $0. You have guys like Dak Prescott for $5. So yeah, this is the way I want to go. Yeah, so I definitely overpaid. But at least I got the player, right? I got the player. Um, so now you're starting to see guys like Mike Evans go for $7 and so on and so forth. So I'm gonna chill now. I want Jadarian Price. He's the next player here, but I've got Swift. You know, I got a lot of investment in that Chicago offense. All right. So if you have money, you can actually, just get a player's, $7 here, $7 here. So you can actually spend a lot of money up front on the key positions and then just fill it out with a lot of depth. And so, but I was trying to be very strategic in terms of the type of players I drafted today. And so yes, for the most part, I got the players I wanted. So I had to pay up for you know Swift here a little bit more than I wanted to, but that's the cost of doing business. So David Montgomery, Bayshall, Judkins, Hampton, yeah. So good looking team. Um, but yeah, there's a ton of QBs here, right? I look at a guy like Dak Prescott. He's a guy I'll probably end up with. Um, Dak Prescott, Bo Nix. I still get the rushing floor. If he rushes this year, I still get the rushing floor, but I don't have to pay a premium for the player. I can also go Jackson Dart, but if is he going to stay on the field? Right, that's the problem. Is he going to stay on the field? I don't know. Joe Burrow. I can go Joe Burrow. Um, oh, yeah, this is the one additional player I want. And then I think I'm good. I can focus on wide receivers and just picking up a few wide receivers here and there as needed. So Jadarian Price for 9, good. Um, Ramondre Stevenson. So if you look at a running back now, because we kept a lot of our players, a lot of people kept players. So the running back position is like now this is all you've got left. Guys like Warren and guys like Rico Dowdle, guys like Brooks. I don't know the combination of Brooks and Hubbard. I don't know who's going to really, be the guy in that backfield. So I just don't know. And so I might go Blake Corum. I might go later. I might go Charbonnet just to fortify that backfield, and I don't have to spend a lot of money for those players. But that's all that's left at running back. So we still have a ton of value at has money and he's just spending in those positions. Wow, I like this team. I like this team. I wonder if this is Randall's team. Bayshall, Montgomery, Stevenson. Just enough depth, right? To go all around. Uh, Let them get their QBs and stuff like that. But this is my team. So my team is not shabby either. I have good enough players. And I still got $17. $17 in this type of league is a lot of money. With most of your roster spots filled because I mean we don't have a lot of bench spaces. So I need to get a good tight end. I need to get a QB, and then maybe some depth at the wide receiver position. But see here, it's not going to be Cortland Sutton. Um, it's just not a lot of guys here. Maybe Christian Watson. It's a guy, Marco Wilson. But how much do I want to be tied to that offense? Wandale. Again, how much do I want to be tied to that offense? Khalil Shakir, definitely. Then we think about guys like, Josh Downs for $1, Stephon Diggs. Wicks. Wicks is a guy I'm hearing good things about. And then we have Deshaun Stribling here. So I would just kind of chill here for a little bit from the wide receiver front. I know I'll get good wide receivers later. So I still need some depth there, but I'm good at the running back position. So I may just get Charbonnet and throw him in my IR spot and see what happens. All right, guys, let me get a drink here quickly. I'll leave the draft on for you and you can see how it goes. Yeah, so I'm back here. So there's still, since I need wide receivers, these are the type of guys I want to bid on with the limited budget I have. Christian Watson just went for $5. Right. So this again, this is my home league. So this is what you typically see. So I got Christian Watson now to solidify my wide receiver spots. Christian Watson, I've got Burden, I've got Higgins, and I've got Nico Collins, right? And so I'd rather spend that and spend the same, you know, $5 or $8 on Alec Pierce. But again, this is like a lot of managers are not here. So it's like us taking advantage of the bots here because they're not inclined to go over the player value. Um, so yes. And like I mentioned before, I have another draft coming up. I have a Yahoo draft coming up after this, and it's at 8 o'clock actually. So maybe this draft rolls into that one because I'm not going to be done here by the time that draft starts. So I'm going to be doing these simultaneously. Um, but hopefully I'm close to the end by the time that starts than I am at the beginning. So a lot of hype for Matthew Golden this year. I just don't see it, guys. I don't see it. But I may be wrong. I could be wrong. I don't see it. Uh, yeah, so I can't bid that much, right? So I'll let the teams that need QBs get their QBs. I can bid up to seven. I have $12 left. So yeah, RJ Harvey. I had RJ Harvey last year. It was frustrating. I just want to stay away from the Denver backfield. It was very frustrating um, to just roster RJ Harvey because of all of it's constantly something with Sean Payton in his offense. So you never know. Yeah, but we're getting to that point of the draft where I think you can start nominating the players you want. Casey Concepcion is here for $0. So if you nominate him, the bots are not going to go crazy. You got guys like Jalen Coker still here, McMillan. So maybe I'll get one more, but these guys are too expensive. I'm not going to be able to get away with Marco Wilson because that's all my money. Um, but yeah, I'm going to start filling the positions I want, the dollar here and there player. There's Stephon Diggs, like Josh Downs. Is that the type of guys you want to pick up right now? Um, Khalil Shakir. Because if you pick up any more than that, the bots are gonna outbid you. So I'm trying to be smart. So let's see. Oh, so I didn't no, that was my bad. I didn't nominate a player, so my turn came around. So that's how Marco Wilson ended up in here. So yeah, so a lot of managers did auto draft, and not a bad thing necessarily. People are busy. I think in this league, it's hard to end up with a terrible team. You always have some good enough value. Mm, So I'm gonna nominate uh, Josh Downs here and see what happens. Right, because all the bots will have to, go over two or something to get Josh Downs. He's the only viable receiver in the entire offense as is his best as. So if I can end up with guys like that on my bench, there we go. No resistance. I feel like the managers who aren't here, if they were here, I wouldn't be able to get away with Josh Downs for $1. So, but yeah, I've got now Christian Watson, Josh Downs on my bench. Um, and every dollar I can get a player for, that's less I have to spend. So I can be a little bit more strategic in who I go after. I want Wandale Robinson. Oh, yeah, I got to go Dak Prescott. So if we look at a QB position, if we look at QB, it's him or Bo Nix. So fortunately, if I get outbid, I go Bo Nix, but that's that. And I want to be tied to that offense. So yeah, so I've got a QB. I've got a QB. don't have the wide receivers to pair with him, but I do have a QB. Um, sorry, this whole time I was showing you just the screen, but yeah. So what I have now is Dak Prescott, Chase Brown. I have, Ken Walker. I have Nico Collins. I have T. Higgins, Burden, um, Williams. Um, that is Javante Williams and DeAndre Swift. What else here? Yeah, Jadarian Price, Christian Watson, Josh Downs. So Bo Nix went for three. I paid five for Dak. Potato, potato. So the next round, so I'm gonna look at. I'm done with QB. I don't take two QBs in this league. There'll be a bunch of guys on waiver wire. The next round, I'm going Deshaun Stribling. Because if I nominate any of these guys right here, I want Wandale, but if I nominate Wandale, he's gonna be gone. So I'm gonna go Deshaun Stribling, and I'm gonna go tight end, which I'm at the tight end position. Yeah, Tucker Craft. At the tight end position, I'm going to go. I don't know what happens with George Kittle this year, so I'm going to go. Yeah, and since I can only bid so much, so there it is. George Kittle. I can go Jake Ferguson to have that stack with Dak Prescott. I can go Mark Andrews, right? Um, so what I'm going to do here is probably start with Dallas Goddard and see if I get outbid for Dallas Goddard, and then I have Deshaun Stribling in my queue. Uh, right now, I want one more wide receiver, maybe two more wide receivers, and then we can focus on picking up another running back. Like I said, running backs are go at a premium in this league. And you see, obviously, because Isaiah likely is from the New York area, someone's gonna, you know, spend a couple dollars for him. Um, that's just how it is. Because the managers here know the players in this region and the teams in this region. So yeah, someone's gonna pay up. Oh no, that was just $1. Okay. I could have bid $2. Right, right. I'm tired. But yeah. So if you're just joining us, this is my home league, low stakes, mostly bragging rights. Winner gets a ring trophy. I got a ring from this league. I've won it several times, but we started doing rings. And so Uh, definitely a really fun league. 17 roster spots, so there's ton of value on the waiver wire. Nothing you have to, cry about. If you just draft like a solid team, you should be able to find guys on the waiver wire to just help you navigate all of the things that may come your way during the season. So that's what I'm trying to do here with this team. Just trying to fill out my all the positions with good enough players that gives me an edge. In worst case, like someone gets hurt, I go pick up someone off waivers. Um, and if you look at a running back position, look at wide receivers. But wide receivers thinning out, and that's because we all have to keep. We can keep up to two players as our keepers each year. I kept two. Some managers decided to go elsewhere. Um, yeah, Ted Hurst. Yeah. But again, this is like I am in the Tampa region. I know this player and I hear all the B reporters talking about how great he's gonna be. Um, so I'm gonna go Dallas Goddard here. Uh, and I could have gone, say someone outbids me, I'm gonna go then what's his name? I'm just gonna go. Jake Ferguson. Oh, there we go. There we go. uh yeah, I think it's just because like we're in this area, the New York, Philadelphia area, and a lot of managers know these players. I think Goddard's gonna have a good year, but again, the Hurts manager wants to pair Hurts with Dallas Goddard, so then it creates like a bidding war. Everyone wants to play her. So here we are. And that's why cardinal rule number one, you don't nominate the players you want. When managers have money, but at this point, I have limited funds, so I just have to go for it and see if someone lets me get away with it. But I have a backup plan, so I can go either Mark Andrews, I can go Jake Ferguson. I want to go George Kittle, but oh my God, dude, how healthy do we think the Niners are gonna be this year? Right? I mean, Kittle's coming off this injury. Do you want to hitch your wagon to Kittle? And I know when he's on the field and he's healthy, the performance is undoubt. You know, you can question the production, but how healthy is he going to be at this age? Or this is my question, right? And so I am trying to stay away from the electrical substation, um, and but there's opportunity there as well. So the man just got hurt. He got Joe Burrow and Hurts. Like you don't need two QBs in this league. Um, but yeah, it is what it is. Also, you see like Cy Allen is going here. It is just all like the hype players that everyone's heard of. A guy I might do is let me see, Mike Washington. I can do three more running backs. So I can do running backs. I can search for Mike Washington. All right. So Mike Washington, I'm just gonna queue up because who knows how much these teams have heard of Mike Washington. So we have, let me see, running back. This is what we have at running back, and that's just because a lot of managers keep I keep repeating that, but they keep their players. They keep most of their running backs year in and year out. Um, so we are left with the likes of Brooks and Chuba Hubbard, uh, Tony Pollard, the duo of Rico Dowdle and Jalen Warren. I don't know. Um, J.K. Dobbins still here. If he's healthy, by all means. Blake Corum is here. Zach Charbonnet is here. I can pick up Zach Charbonnet, throw him in my IR spot and pick up someone else. Jordan Mason's still here. So there's still a lot of second tier players that we can all draft here. But yeah, so I could be very greedy since I need three running backs and just go three running backs here um, to fill out the rest of my roster. But I also want maybe one more wide receiver. So maybe if I can go Stribling, given what we have. So $3. Right? That's pretty good for $2 for Jalen Warren. Right? So all good things. All good things. The only reason why I'm gonna kind of bypass Brooks here and Chuba Hubbard is the fact that I just don't know who is the lead in our backfield. So I might end up with guys like Jordan Mason, Blake Corum, which is not bad, or Zach Charbonnet. Um, if I end up with two of those, and I have Stribling, the see what we have a wide receiver. Yeah, this is what we have a wide receiver. So amongst this group, I'm looking for high upside guys. Maybe Shaheed and maybe Shaheed. Jordan Tyson. He's a guy I can pick up and throw in. Uh, I can pick up waivers. Right. Then it falls off from there. So $2 per player here. Tony Pollard. And go Tony Pollard. That's good. That's good. Let me look at running back again. J.K. Dobbins. Do I want to pick up Kyle Monangai? And yeah, so this is the decisions you have to make with the roster crunch. You have to decide who you want to let go, who you want to keep, because it's a lot of, I don't have a lot. I have 4 roster spots to fill. So I have to be careful how I fill those roster spots. But I could have gone Tony Pollard. Uh, so go tight end again. And go Ferguson. Travis Kelsey, I think, is washed. I think Travis is done, and I don't expect a lot from Travis this year. So okay, so we've got Ferguson, and George Kittle is sitting here just tempting me. How do I want to spend the remainder of this budget? Right, it's the question. Uh, I don't need 2 tight ends in this league. Someone's going to end up on waivers. I can pick up a backup tight end. If George Kittle is healthy, I think he has an amazing year. But how healthy is he? Is he? My question. Is what's tripping me up. Um, yeah. So it's dribbling. Is combination of these guys. $2 here. $2 here. $2 here. Yeah, most teams now are just in the auto draft mood. A lot of managers are out of here. So dribbling, and then I'm gonna go just running back. Guys like Jordan Mason is here. Jordan Mason is here. Mike Washington is here. Um, and then Zach Charbonnet is here. And I know there are teams here sitting, waiting for these team players. Nope, he's got Patrick Mahomes, Lawrence. Okay, okay. I knew this is what he was waiting for. You can know who someone's waiting for. But yeah, this is his last running back spot, so he picks up Mike Washington. That's pretty cool. That's okay. Um, all right, donezo. All right, he's done. Yeah, he's done. Um, good enough team. Good enough team. I don't know, man. How much do I want to trust the J.K. Dobbins thing? I don't know. I like Kyle, but I'm gonna go Jordan Mason, a combination of Kresge married, Jordan Mason and Blake Corum or Charbonnet just to lock up that backfield. I know he comes back and yeah. So yeah. So this segues naturally into my next draft. So I should be done here by the time that one starts. So I'm trying to kind of speed up the process here. So we have 20 minutes before the next one starts. Krusky married. I can do $2 here, but I want a Blake Corum. I want a Blake Corum. So this is what my team looks like. And then lastly, I want Stribling. Once Stribling comes up, he's the player I really want. So if I can get Deshaun Stribling, uh, as my last pick here, all is well. Because there's not much else at wide receiver really to speak. Oh, there's a ton of value at wide receiver right here. I mean, beyond that is like dead. But these guys will make a difference this year. It's just a matter of uh, when and stuff like that. So um, it depends on when, but it should make a difference. Um, uh, and I'm just picking Blake Corum. $2. If someone outbids me, fine. If not, fine. I can also probably pick up Charbonnet off of waivers. Fine. And so that last dollar is gonna go to Stribling. And if someone outbids me for Stribling, that's fine. I'll just go elsewhere. I'll just go pick up Charbonnet or someone put them in my I still have one running back spot I can go. And so let's look at wide receiver. Yeah, there's still some value here. Debo Samuel's here, Quentin Johnston's here, um, Mark Andrews. The only downside is that if someone nominates Stribling right now, I can't bid on Stribling, right? I only have $1, but that's okay. I have enough good wide receivers. I can go Shaheed. I can go, Casey Concepcion. Yeah. So that's why you spend up early. And so you are in rounds like this, you can just pick up players for $1. So the managers, like this manager is gonna be super mad because look at his team. Malongai. Um, yes, just nobody. Um, yeah, I don't know if Shriveling gets around to me, but I doubt it. Oh. But yeah, not a bad team. I got Blake Corum for $2, Jordan Mason for $2, Josh Downs for $1. So Jalen Price for $9. So this is where you start finding value for next year. Um, because next year, when these players have a better, say, Casey Concession has like a better quarterback, offensive line, better infrastructure around him, he's most likely going to ball, and you want to have him for a fraction of the price. So that's the beauty of a keeper league in the salary cap format. You can choose what percentage of your budget to wait. Huh? Oh, that's not me. I literally thought it was I was I was confused as to why it skipped me. But that's okay. So Stribling is a guy. If he comes up, I feel like he's got money. What was he got? One, two, three, four, five, six, six, five, seven. Okay, so he can't outbid me for Stribling, but other managers might be able to outbid me for Stribling. Sadiq. I feel like it's jumping around. I feel like it's jumping around. I'm not sure. ESPN is weird. Like, if you haven't drafted on ESPN before, it's like not my favorite layout. It's not my favorite format. The only thing I like about it is that it is clearer, meaning it's like the screen is clear and stuff like that. It's not just a dark theme. Yahoo is all dark. Whoa! Is it jumping over me? Wait, I'm just gonna reload. Yeah, I do have an empty spot. Yeah. Okay, so I'm up next. So I can be out of here. I know. I hope no one outbids me for Dejan Stribling. And this is not just for this year. This is for next year. Um, but yeah, my thing was scrambled. So I couldn't really like figure out what was going on there. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So that is it for me, guys. Me. There will be a lot of players on the board. A lot of players. It is grayed out for me now because I can't really like bid anymore. I'm done. So in terms of the rounds, this is what it looked like, the player values. Again, this is my home league. This is a keeper league. We get to keep up to two players. You can choose not to keep a player, and then you will get your full $250. I chose to keep two players, Chase Brown for 30 and Ken Walker for 45 based on the second year and first year basically tax. So I got Ken Walker for 35 last year, so plus 10, that's 45. And then this is the second year I have Chase Brown on my team, so he's going now for I got him for like $1 or something and picked him off waivers. So that's 10 and then plus 20. That's why we get to 30 here. And the rest of these guys are just guys I drafted based on, you know, what I had left. As you can see, the most of my budget went to the running back position. I've got Javante Williams, I got DeAndre Swift, I've got Jadarian Price, I've got Josh Downs, you know, uh, Jordan Mason, I have Blake Corum, Stribling. and Dak Prescott, and then Jake Ferguson, and then I have the Texans defense and Brandon Aubrey. So that is what this one looks like. Let me see. And we have player limits in this one, so you can draft up to eight running backs, up to eight wide receivers. I have six wide receivers and eight running backs. You can never have too many running backs. It's just my philosophy. So this is what the remainder of the budgets look like. This is what people keepers look like. I chose you know, these two players. So you can see the keepers here. So some people chose Puka Nacua. There's just like a different approaches in terms of who you kept and who you didn't keep. But yeah, that is it for this one. I want to jump to my other draft and make sure I'm getting time. But yeah, thank you. I don't know if I'm going to stream that one, but thank you for watching this one. This is just like again my home league. Hopefully it gives you an idea if you are in a league like this that is say if you're in a league like this as a keeper league, super flex at the same time, this is what it may look like. I don't have the full picture yet in terms of where our teams are going to stack up against each other once this is over. Okay, yeah, just this is the draft board. Right, this is the draft board. Should actually I'll take a screenshot of this for one of my thumbnails. Why not? I just like this grid system right here. So it just shows you where all the teams rank and where all of I mean where who's still got a lot of positions to fill and who's like done, right? For me, I'm done, and these are the different positions I have: running back, wide receivers, all color coded, and stuff like that. But yes, thank you for watching. I don't think I'm going to stream the other draft. It's just too long of a time for me to be on streaming. I may do a recap of that draft. But yeah, thank you for watching. Again, this is just another approach to doing salary cap. If you are in these type of leagues, like a keeper league, for example, what players do you decide to keep? What players do you pick up for cheap? Thinking about next year, what I did here by picking up Stribling and Corum for $1 or two, I could have gone, Tony Pollard, for example. But I'm looking at next year, and I'm looking at guys like Blake Corum. Hopefully, will maybe taking over that backfield, right? So, uh, if it works, fine. If it doesn't work, that's fine. You never know what happens. There will be plenty of value, plenty of waiver wire lottery tickets to pick up off the waivers in this league. So I'm not worried too much. But I think I got the key positions filled as much as I could. All right. That is it for this one. Again, thank you for watching. Hopefully this one is like, shorter than the ones I've been doing. So we are pushing and I want to say 2 hours in or more. But yeah, hope it's still shorter than the other ones I'll do. So I don't want to be on stream for 7 hours. So I'm gonna cut this one here. Definitely be back with more later this week. I'm doing a lot more drafts tomorrow. I'm also doing another draft. I'll be doing another live stream of that draft. Same format as the one I'm doing tonight. So make sure you tune in. It'll be around 8 o'clock Eastern time. I'll be sure to set up like the stream beforehand. So if you want to pop in, ask me a question, drop a question. When you are watching here, feel free to drop a question for me. I'm learning this thing as well. All new to live streams. Sometimes I don't get to the questions quick before they vanish. So make sure you leave the questions for me. Or if you can do that, drop it in the comments below after the stream ends. I'm happy to be down there talking with you guys and conversing with you guys. But again, I'm just bringing you my personal live drafts and how I'm approaching them this year. Okay, that is it for this one. I'll be back. Until next time. Peace.